I wanted to touch on Odell Beckham Jr. and the rumors regarding what his status is going into the 2018-2019 season. First of all, we all know what he said about his contract, saying that he would not step on a field for any team until he had a new contract. See, that's funny because you have a guy who is a hassle in the locker room, who has problems both on the field and now off the field. He's demanding to be paid following a season-ending ankle injury. Are we being serious here? He's only had one winning season as a Giant, and he played like garbage in that playoff game against Green Bay. Don't get me wrong, OBJ is a phenomenal talent, a phenomenal player. But I'm sorry, if I'm any general manager, or I'm an owner, and I've got a guy backing me against the wall, especially if we're a team trying to rebuild, saying I will not step foot on your property or on your field until I'm paid, I'd be on the phone with the first team with the best offer and say, see you later, bye, and make them their problem, because then he won't step on the field with them until he gets paid. If I'm Dave Gettleman, I would have shipped them last week like everybody thought they were going to. This is a clip from Dave Gettleman, courtesy of NFL.com, and the thing with Dave Gettleman here is it's funny is he won't answer the questions of is OBJ on the trading block from Kimberly Jones. This is what Dave Gettleman had to say on the rumors of the OBJ trade. Take a listen.
I know you don't want to talk about this, and I respect that. But with all due respect, it was John who opened some of this up by saying no one's untouchable when he was asked about Odell. So what makes it so hard to say, if you feel this way, Odell's part of our team, we want him on our team, end of story?
He is. He's on our team. You know.
And he will be on your team?
Hey, listen, I don't know if I'm going to, drop dead of a heart attack in 2 seconds. I hope not.
You know what I mean.
Although I'm worth more alive than dead now for my wife. But anyhow, no, so all kidding aside, he's on the team, Kim. What do you want me to tell you?
That he's not available via trade.
He's on the team right now.
So he is available via trade.
I just said he's on the team.
And you can't say whether you want him to continue to be on the team or...
Listen, you don't quit on talent. I told you that.
What impression are you under about Odell's work ethic and his commitment? You mentioned earlier the commitment to work the hardest you can and that
He works his fanny out. I mean, his rehab is going terrific. Sends us pictures. Videos. That's funny. He'll send us a video about him running. He's an excellent worker.
So the thing with that I have a problem with is besides him saying, you don't quit on talent, and that's true, all he was asked was, is he available via trade? And to Kim Jones's credit for asking that question, John Mara went out there the day before and said, nobody is untouchable. Specifically referencing Odell Beckham Jr. after the comments that he had about wanting a new contract and how he won't step foot on a field until he gets paid. The thing that's interesting to me, and after John Mara even denied reports saying that Odell will not be traded, the next day, the Giants went out and said, we will not take anything less than 2 first-round picks for Odell Beckham Jr. So the night before, when John Mara said we are not trading Odell Beckham Jr., the next day, all of a sudden, there's an offer on the table. If anybody's got 2 first-round picks, we'll consider it. Seriously? Listen, if I'm the Giants, I trade this guy. I'm sorry, I trade Odell Beckham Jr. He has proven time and time again he could be a problem on the field. He proved it in that Carolina game with Josh Norman. He proved it last year with his celebration antics in Philadelphia. And he's proving it now coming off a season where, don't get me wrong, if he had a phenomenal season last year in a season where the Giants were horrifically awful, we could consider he's coming off a season-ending ankle injury in the first few weeks of the season, where in the few weeks before that he didn't really do anything, and he's going to sit here and demand money. I understand he's a great talent. He's a phenomenal player. But if I'm any general manager and somebody comes up to me, especially to me, Odell's not proved himself. He's not proved himself. He had the opportunity to do it last year, and he got hurt. So now this year is his opportunity to prove that he's worth the money. If anybody who has not proved themselves came up to me, if I was a general manager and said, I will not step foot on your field until I get paid, I would literally look him dead in the eye and say, you are being traded before the night's over. If that's how you want to play this game, I could play it right back. You want to deal with a guy like that? And listen, it'd be one thing if Odell had a clean record. He doesn't. He has problems on the field. Now, with the video, he's got problems off the field. He's a hassle to your locker room. He's not worth 2 first-round picks. Somebody put on Twitter saying, what if the Cleveland Browns traded one of their top 4 picks in the draft, so 1 or 4, for Odell Beckham Jr.? I literally quote tweeted it saying, fire John Dorsey immediately, because he is not worth the number 1 or the number 4 pick in the draft. He's not worth 2 first-round picks in the draft. Now, the Rams, there were rumors a couple of days ago that they were going to offer up the 23rd pick in the draft for Odell Beckham Jr. If I'm Dave Gettleman, I'd take it in a heartbeat for a couple of reasons, okay? Number 1, the Giants would benefit if they traded with the Rams with the 23rd pick, because you'd be able to grab somebody like Isaiah Wynn or Will Hernandez that can help your offensive line, because they'll still be around at 20 to 23 and all that stuff. So they'll still be around in those rounds, and they're great talents. They can help that O-line improve so much. The Rams would benefit from the trade, because the Rams, you would have Odell in a great landing spot for him, because he'd be playing alongside Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods on offense, and at the same time, Aqib Talib, Marcus Peters, and Ndamukong Suh alongside Aaron Donald on your defense. You are locked in for the NFC Championship game in Los Angeles. No doubt in my mind. You put Odell on the Rams? Now, I heard a lot of people say, I wouldn't want Odell on the Rams, and I understand that, because it's the same reasons why I'm saying the Giants have to get rid of him, because he's a hassle in the locker room. He can be a problem with other players. He has problems on the field with celebrations and getting in trouble with the refs. He now has problems off the field that people have to worry about now. So don't get me wrong, for any Rams fan that says, I don't want Odell Beckham Jr. on my team, I 100% respect your opinion. But also know you be getting a great talent, and I know the Giants can benefit from having him long term. But if I'm a general manager, I'm not putting up with this crap, especially to a guy, in my opinion, who has not proved himself yet. Don't get me wrong, he's a great talent. He's had good years, but last year was the year to prove that he was worth the big contract extension, and unfortunately for him, he got hurt, which means he didn't get it done. So now this year is his time to prove it, and in response to that, he's going to sit here and say, I'm not stepping foot on a football field for any team until I get paid. Are you serious? It's not about what you've done in the past. It's about what you have done for me lately. And lately, he has been on injured reserve. He's rehabbing to come back, and hope to God he's going to be okay. But let's not beat around the bush. He didn't play last year. He is not worthy of a contract extension because he has not played. He is not worthy of 2 number 1 picks. Now, he shuts his mouth, he stays on the Giants this year, and has a Pro Bowl type season, then yes, talk about contract extensions next year. We'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Will he get traded in the next week or 2? Will he get traded on draft night? We don't know. But I'm sorry, this is your year to prove yourself, and in response, you're going to tell your owner and your team that I'm not going to be on the field until I get paid. You're going to threaten to hold out after a year where you didn't do anything? Unfortunately, yes, because you got hurt, but you didn't do anything. You played 4 games, you got hurt, you were doing urinating celebrations in a Philadelphia Eagles end zone in a game that you had locked up and lost, and you're going to sit here and demand money, and until you get it, you're not going to be on the field? That's Bush League. If I'm the Giants, I'm listening to offers, but I'm sorry, the number 23 pick in a draft for Odell Beckham Jr., I would take it in 3.5 seconds. And if there is somebody out there that will give you 2 number 1s, whether it be a number 1 this year, number 1 next year, for Odell Beckham Jr., if you could somehow find that team that thinks it's worth it, take it in a heartbeat. Because if there is any other team that will trade 2 number 1 picks for that basket case, then that GM should be fired. If I'm the Giants and somebody is going to offer 2 number 1s for Odell Beckham Jr., there is no hesitation. He's gone. See you later. Bye. I don't think that there's going to be a team out there that thinks that Odell Beckham Jr. is worth it, because in my opinion, he's not. Just like Daniel Jeremiah tweeting the other day, would you trade the number 1 or the number 4 pick to the Giants for Odell Beckham Jr.? Absolutely not. Now, if you're the Giants, you take that immediately, but if you're John Dorsey, you should be packing your bags. And I know he will be joining a good wide receiver core, but Odell Beckham Jr. is not worth the number 1 or the number 4 pick in the draft. He is not worth 2 first-round picks in the draft. Now, the number 23 pick in the draft from the Rams, I think is very intriguing. I think that could be a real possibility if the Rams really want him. If I am the New York Giants today, I'm considering all offers, because the last thing that I want to do is deal with a guy who we don't even know if he's 100%. We don't know how he'll respond after the ankle injury. The last thing that I want to do as a GM is listen to a guy who, in my opinion, has not proved himself in the NFL yet. While he's had good seasons, the Giants have not been successful. The one year that that they were, Odell had an opportunity to blow the doors off of Lambeau Field and couldn't get the job done. Drop passes in the end zone. Drop passes down the field. Played awful in his first and so far only postseason game he's ever played in. So yes, in my opinion, Odell has not proved himself. He's not proved himself to be worth 2 first-round picks. He's not proved himself to be worth all that money. He had the opportunity to do that last year and he got hurt. So this year is his opportunity to prove he is worth the big bucks. And in response, he's going to tell his GM that I'm not playing for you until you pay me. I'd have him on the trading block faster than he could finish his sentence. Especially for the fact that the Giants are trying to rebuild. So you can get a good quality pick for Odell Beckham. If you somehow find a team that will give you 2 number ones for Odell, do it. If the Rams offer you the 23rd pick in the draft, do it. Because you need to consider the future. Because I was on the show last week and we opened the show last week with why the Giants need to consider and should take a quarterback at 2. Whether that's Rosen, Allen, or Mayfield, and it would probably be Josh Rosen. You need to take Eli's replacement. Just like how I said, I don't care if Eli Manning's under contract. There is still no guarantee he'll be the quarterback in 2019. The Giants could cut him, he could retire, or they could trade him. There's no guarantee, especially after the year that Eli had last year. If he repeats the same actions this year, do you really think that he is guaranteed to be the starting quarterback in 2019? So just like how Eli Manning, in my opinion, is not guaranteed to be the quarterback in 2019, Odell Beckham Jr. is not guaranteed to be the Giants wide receiver in 2019. This is his year to prove himself and to get paid. So shut your mouth. Because you're not worth the contract extension just yet. You're not worth 2 number 1 picks. And if there is a team stupid enough to give the Giants 2 number 1 picks, then the Giants should trade him in a heartbeat. Because if you really want to rebuild, and you're talking about rebuilding, get the basket case and the problems off your team and do this thing right. If the Rams offer you the number 23 pick on draft night for Odell Beckham Jr., are you really going to sit there and say, we want 1 more first round pick from you and we want it next year? Or are you going to sit there and say, we can get a good product to help our offensive line with somebody like Wynn or Hernandez? We can build our O-line in the draft while getting our franchise quarterback. Let's make the trade. If Dave Gettleman is stupid enough when he's on the phone with LA on draft night to say, yeah, the 23 pick is good enough, but I want more. In my opinion, the Rams will not go for that. There is no team that will go for 2 number 1 picks for Odell Beckham Jr. It shouldn't happen. It can happen. In my opinion, Odell Beckham Jr. is being traded. I don't know to who. I don't know to where. I don't know why. But he needs to be traded. The Giants need to get that one last distraction off their team, especially after saying that I'm not going to take the field until you pay me. Following a year where he missed 12 games. Now, if he had played all of last year, made the Pro Bowl, had a great year, then yes, I would be in Odell's corner here. I can't get behind a player that says I'm going to hold out for money following a year that I barely played. It is not about what you did in 2016. It's not about what you did in 2015. It's about what you have done recently, and in 2017, he was hurt. So I cannot get behind him for wanting a contract extension and for saying that until I get it, I'm not playing. If you're Dave Gettleman and the right offer is on the table, I don't care if it's tonight, I don't care if it's draft night, you must trade Odell Beckham Jr.